All right. So, Noura, can you tell us about yourself? If you'd like, it's your first name, age, where you're from. You can leave your first name out if you're uncomfortable. You can put it in as a initial. You're allowed to change your age a little bit. If you feel at any time uncomfortable, you can change anything.
My name is Noura, and I love my name a lot. I'm 17-year-old, Syrian girl, and I resident in Lebanon, not in Syria. And yes, so that's all. I've been living here in Lebanon for 12 years, so
Oh,
you can say that I raised up here, and I don't know anything about Syria and how like um I visited Syria on February for my first time this year. Uh, and actually, like, the bad feeling is that I'm walking in my city that I was born there, but I don't know the streets and I don't know how to deal with money. As a foreign, not uh, I was considered as a foreign, not as the girl of the city. Yeah, that was really hard.
oh, were you with your family or friends when you left your country?
Well, when I left my country, I was 5 years old. I left my country with my family. So actually, because I was too young, like I didn't miss my friends or something like that because I was too young. So I missed my kindergarten a little bit, but you can see like all my life is here in Lebanon. So when I leave Lebanon, I'll miss Lebanon. That's the point.
What were the exact reasons that actually made you leave your country?
Well, the primary reason for leaving my home country was the outbreak of the Syrian Revolution in 2011, during which citizens began demanding basic freedoms, including the right to express their opinion and to live free from dictatorship. So, because of this, the Syrian army, unfortunately, initiated a widespread crackdown, arresting protesters and escalating violence. And one day, uh, we were threatened to be slaughtered, and that was like um, very dangerous to us. So we know in our neighborhood, like a whole family, they were all slaughtered. They didn't like let any person of this family still alive. So that was very horrible to us. So from that day, we decided to flee. Syria is no longer safe at all. And yes, that's the primary reason.
So, when you first did arrive after escaping your home country, where did you live? Like, did you live in some sort of refugee camp, uh, actually with the rest of the people, with like, the rest of the country like a normal person would live? Like, what exactly or where did you exactly live?
Okay, so the good thing is that my uncle moved to Lebanon before us, and he rent a house. So when that bad news about slaughtering we heard in our neighborhood, my mom called my uncle. Uh, I'll move to Lebanon, and I'm gonna live with you. So as a family, we all moved to our uncle house, and we lived for about like 6 months. And when we left Syria, we only had $2,000. So in these 6 months, we were searching for a house to rent. And at the end, we found a house, and we rented for 6 months, and we paid all the money, which is $2,000. Just we want to live in a house. But the first days in that house was terrible because it doesn't contain any kind of furniture, no blankets, no spoon, no pillows. Actually, nothing is empty 100%. So yes, um, I
Oh,
didn't live in a refugee camp.
oh gosh. So did you you mentioned that you got the house but there wasn't really any furniture, not even spoons. So knowing this, what was life like there initially? Like you didn't have these what one, like for example here in the US would consider uh, basic necessity for living. So you didn't have these kinds of things. So what was life there like initially?
Yeah, it was very hard. Um, but my dad started working.
Hmm.
My dad started working, and like gradually, like for example, he worked like his income monthly, it was around 200 or $250. So gradually we started buying furnitures, and I do still remember um when we first buy a bed to every single one of our family. So it was a very happy moment. I still remember that because we were sleeping on the ground. Yeah, it was very hard days.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, that's good. You finally did get end up getting a bed. That's good. So aside from those challenges, what was the most difficult thing that you've faced in your new place? Was it not having the bed, utensils maybe? Like what was the thing that was the hardest to deal with aside from of course being forced to leave your home country?
Well, we can say the most difficult challenges to me is the concept that everything is new, like new country, new community we are in, um, new type of money. We can say I didn't know how to deal with or my family. Actually, they didn't know how to manage or to deal with the Lebanese lira because there's a difference between the Syrian and Lebanese lira. So the sense of everything is new and you have to adapt to all these new things. It was difficult to us in the first period.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. But knowing that, did you feel safe when you arrived then? Obviously, there was a, a disconnect between you and, the people that were already living there. So, how'd they make you feel, like, versus back when you were in your home country?
Well,
Did,
when I first, uh, do you want to complete?
yeah, I was just about to repeat my question about did you feel safe when you arrived, but please continue.
Okay. So when we first arrived to Lebanon, we felt unsafe extremely because all the political issues in Syria and arresting people and killing innocent people without any cause. So when we first arrived to the Lebanese lands, and like the driver of the bus, he said, "Now officially we are in Lebanon." So all my family, especially my mom, uh, she said, eventually we arrived because we wanted to leave Syria as soon as possible. Like my mother reached to the level that um she had like um a little, like we can say, heart attacks or panic attacks because of the war and in the final days of Syria, which was the most difficult days. And the doctor said to my father, your wife cannot live in Syria anymore. You have to go out of Syria because her health like um, is highly impacted of all the issues happening.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, so my mother is was very happy when we first arrived.
oh, that's good. And on a side note, how's your mom doing now? Is she doing well?
Yeah, now she's doing well, and she was like when she met my uncle, because my uncle moved to Lebanon like before a year from us. She missed him a lot, so when she met him, she was very happy and she forgot like all the terrible days in Syria that passed.
That's good. All right. So how do people in Lebanon treat you? Like, did they treat you any differently? Did you face any kind of discrimination or racism? Like anything like that?
Okay, so actually, yes, I faced a great deal of discrimination and racism, simply because I'm Syrian, and this has deeply affected my personality even to this day. Although Syrians and Lebanese speak the same language, we have different accents, and as soon as people hear me speak in Syrian accent, they immediately identify me as Syrian, and for some, that becomes a reason to bully, insult, or humiliate me. It is painful to say, but I've found that while around 40% of Lebanese people they are kind, respectful, welcoming, and the remaining 60% tend to show clear prejudice. So we can say that some people are kind. I faced them, and especially the teachers at my school, and in the other places like in the supermarket, in taxi, in the shops. So I faced uh, lots of discrimination situations, and that was very hard to me as a young girl. Like I can tell you that as a young girl, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, um, I concluded that the presence of uh, my presence in this earth, like it's not welcomed, and the people they all say why Syrians are here, and we have you have to leave our country. You're taking the jobs of Lebanese men and something like that. So uh, my childhood wasn't that good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you did mention that the reason or the reasoning of the people that are discriminatory or racist towards you is that, for example, uh, refugees are taking jobs of our country. Why are they here? They're taking our resources. So, what is your take on this? Not just as a refugee, but if you were objectively looking at, say, a large group of people entering your country, taking some jobs, take using some resources to live there. uh, how would you feel? Do you understand where they're coming from, or do you think they're making something that is supposed to help people who are refugees, and they're turning it into something bad by being racist and discriminatory?
Well, so uh, actually, I want to tell you something, a fact. When we were living in Syria, the apartment that's in front of us, it was for Palestinian people. They didn't rent the house; they owned it, and lots we can say about like 4 million Palestinian people, because of the political issues in Palestine. they moved to Syria, and because the area of Syria is so big with respect to Lebanon, and I don't know, we Syrians, they are so welcoming. So our Palestinian neighbor, we treat her as our Syrian neighbor, and weekly all the neighbors, they do gatherings, and she attended them يعني, as a member of our society. So she lived in that house for 10 years, and we didn't treat her as a refugee at all. And actually, the term refugee was subjected to us just after leaving Syria. But we, as Syrians, every single foreign person came to Syria, we didn't like tell him this term, or call him in this term. Oh, refugee, you are a refugee and you have to move. No, and actually, what's also like my mother, she did, is that the husband of our Palestinian neighbor, he's also Palestinian and he has a shop. So my mom, instead of going to a shop for Assyrian people and to buy uh, groceries or clothes from that shop, she prefers to go to the shop of the Palestinian one and to buy from him and to benefit him. So I don't know if this is the answer to your question.
Uh, it's sort of what I was looking for, but um, I understand your answer. Thank you. Um, Going back to your original response to how locals treated you, you also mentioned how your teachers were nice, and I'd like to delve into that a little more. So, were you able to complete your studies? And if you did face any difficulties, what were they for your studies?
Okay. Yes, I consider myself extreme fortune because when I was in grade one, around 2015, the United Nations took the initiative to open public schools specifically for Syrian students in Lebanon. So I completed my studies without any difficulty. But I want to mention something, that these schools, they decided to open for Syrians, but in the afternoon shift after the morning shift for the Lebanese students. So I didn't mix, or I wasn't integrated with the Lebanese students. So I attended from 2 p.m. till 7 p.m. Um, yes, and all the teachers are nice, and like they gave me, sorry, a strong push to complete my studies, to not surrender and give up, and to improve my English language because it's highly important.
Oh, okay, and that's good. Okay, so now overall, as your experience as a refugee, what is like one feeling, or what is the feeling that best describes your entire experience?
Okay, so the one feeling that best describes my entire experience is pride. I'm proud of everything I've been through, even the toughest moments, because they taught me so much. They taught me to be patient, brave, resilient, and to hold on to optimism, even when every door seemed closed in front of me simply because I'm Syrian.
How about memorable moment? Like it could be any kind of moment that's important to you. It could be sad, powerful.
Okay, so uh, um, I can tell you both a sad one and a happy one.
Okay.
Can I do this?
Yeah.
Okay, so concerning the bad one, I still remember an incident occurred while I was in a taxi with my mother. So there was also a girl sitting beside me, and she was holding her phone in a way that suggested she might be recording us.
Oh,
And during the ride, the driver began discriminating against us and insulting us using offensive language, very offensive one. Like, Syria is now safe. Why do not you go back to your home country and something like that? So, in return, my mother, she was extremely quiet and she didn't respond to him. And she was gently demanding from him, okay, let us go out of the car, stop the vehicle, stop the car. And he wasn't stopping the car because he was enjoying insulting us. So, and eventually he decided to stop the car and let us go out. And when my mother closed the door, he unfortunately said a very bad word toward her in a very loud voice, and all the people in the street looked at us. That was the most embarrassing situation and painful one uh, in my life. So it was very, very bad one.
oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, and concerning the uh, happy one or the good one is that during the last summer vacation, we have an organization in Tripoli. It is NGO, and it is called Laser. And what it did, that it launched a summer program that brought together students from various nationalities, including Syrian, Palestinian, and Lebanese participants. And um, personally, I enjoyed the mix of uh, of these countries, and the environment was filled of respect, and no one discriminated the other, and that was a very good experience.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you for the experiences. But how about in the present? So, what are your dreams or ambitions today?
Well, my dream is that is highly related to the environment, as I love the environment a lot. So I'd like to study as a bachelor degree environmental science or environmental health, and I'm looking forward to study environmental policies as a master's degree. And my dream is that um, to go back to my home country and to enhance its environment after a very tough war, and especially after chemical bombing, firing. So every single every single thing of the environment was extremely damaged. So I want to give life again to the Syrian environment.
Ah, okay. That's a good dream. I hope you can do it soon. Did you have access to healthcare back in your home country? What was it like?
You mean in Syria, healthcare?
Yes, back in your home country.
Well, so yeah, in Syria we have access to healthcare, and we have lots of hospitals and health centers that provide treatment for citizens with not paying a lot of money. And what was good in Syria also is that the doctors, they are so skillful. Uh, yeah, so we had the chance to healthcare facilities in Syria. It was very good.
Oh, that's good. So the following questions will be part of like more of a medical aspect of being a refugee. So, did you or your family get sick while traveling, or maybe in refugee camps?
Okay. Fortunately, we didn't get sick during traveling from Syria to Lebanon, and as I said before, we didn't live in a refugee camp. Uh, yeah, this is the answer.
Was medical care available during your journey and where you stayed?
Okay. Here in Tripoli, yes, we have lots of health centers. Also, they provide facilities mm, for not paying a lot of money. Um, but certain things, sorry, they needed lots of money. So I still remember when I was 7 years old. Um, when I was 7 years old, I did a surgery for my uh, I do not remember the word in English. Okay, sorry for that.
That's fine. Okay, so let's say like the medicines available in Lebanon, right? So like were they all culturally appropriate? And what I mean by that is that like in some areas uh, some kind of medication isn't allowed due to taboo reasons. It might be religion, culture, maybe the people don't believe in it, maybe they think it's bad for them. So was there any sort of thing like that in Lebanon where the medicines that were available to you, like you could just use all of them? Like none of them were, like, let's say you weren't allowed to use any of them.
Okay. So actually, because Syria and Lebanon, we don't have a great distance between these two countries, and as a people of these both countries, we have lots of common things and similarities. So actually, uh, we don't have lots of cultural differences. That's why I can take any kind of treatment. And for me, any kind of treatment here isn't prohibited, and I can take them easily.
Oh, okay, that's good. um Now it's going to be more on the mental health aspect. Did you ever feel depressed, stressed, or anxious since leaving Syria? I know you were young at the time, and it's especially traumatic and very stress bearing on a young child leaving their home abruptly like that. So from that day up to where you are now, have you ever felt depressed, stressed, or anxious?
Okay, so actually, I have the mix of these all three feelings together. Um, uh, Regarding depression, um, it was primarily due to repeated encounters with individuals who frequently insulted me, and concerning anxiety, it was connected to a sense of uh, internal conflict. So I was aware of my capabilities and my goals and aspirations. And between the years of 2013 and 2021, I often wished for a better lifestyle and improved educational opportunities. However, I chose not to share these wishes with my family, knowing that they were unable to provide such conditions due to financial limitations.
Mm.
Um, and concerning stress, um, it stemmed from the high cost of living in Lebanon, which placed considerable pressure on daily life.
How about other challenges like perhaps not being able to understand the language? I know that's we already sort of addressed that. It's not that it's the language, it's that differences in accent, and then maybe some people are very rude and they are discriminatory and racist. So obviously there's that challenge. But have you ever been afraid to ask for help?
Okay, so actually, sometimes just to avoid being insulted, Um, I've learned a little bit how to talk in the Lebanese accent. So I switched to the Lebanese accent just for people to not recognize me as a Syrian. But sometimes I proudly speak in my Syrian accent where I feel comfortable, because we have like a great percentage of uh, kind people in Lebanon, and they say to me, "Dear, just talk in your accent. Do not switch to the Lebanese one. I love the Syrian accent."
That- that's good. Um, if you could, tell doctors or hospitals, maybe one thing on how to better care for refugees, what would it be? It might be that, maybe try to be more understanding of where refugees coming from. It's maybe something about how some medications need to be given in certain ways to a certain groups of people. Just anything that, from your experience, if you have had any with doctors or hospitals, on how they can better care for refugees.
Okay, so if I were to address doctors and professionals working to improve healthcare for refugees, I would emphasize that refugees require not only physical treatment but also psychological support. Mental health care is equally as important as physical health care. So, a refugee often experiences deep homesickness, missing their home country, their house, relatives, and familiar surroundings. Simultaneously, they are faced with the challenges of adapting to a new environment, culture, and lifestyle. So, this dual emotional burden, longing for the past while struggling to adjust to the present, can lead to depression, stress, and anxiety. Therefore, it is essential to provide access to psychological services, including therapy sessions and mental health consultations. Refugees need professionals who can listen, understand their emotional struggles, and offer meaningful support that encourages resilience rather than reinforces negative emotions. So that's it.
I like that response. Were you going to add on? I'm sorry, I cut you off. Sorry. Did you want to continue?
No, no, that's the answer.
Okay. So you did already mention this sort of in question 19 about how doctors could be, they could be understand the psychological torment that a refugee goes through. Uh, but aside from that, is there one thing you wished people knew about refugee health?
Okay, so yes, one important point re regarding refugee health is that in some cases, certain organizations or NGOs, it may provide healthcare services to refugees using expired vaccines, expired medications, or medical supplies that are no longer needed for them. So I think this practice can expose refugees to serious health risks, and it is important to recognize that a refugee is a human being also, like anyone else, and shouldn't be viewed as someone under serving or un um like like someone who's from a low background with respect to the other people. He must be treated as any other human, and we must provide him with the same treatments, not treatments that we want to get rid of and something like that.
Yep, that's a good response. I know you uh, touched up on, how you could tell doctors or hospitals one thing on how to better care for refugees. But how about, government officials or policymakers? One thing on how to better support refugees, what would it be?
Okay, actually, I always like to solve the root cause of the problem. So, because of the war, we have refugees. If we solved the issue of the war, like policymakers, if they actually like do what they promise, they always promise we want to make peace in all the countries of the world. So if they actually do that, um, that will um, that will not make any kind of refugee um, refugees and like that would be so helpful because when you say that, okay, by like 2030 or 2040, there will be no person or no any single one is a refugee. That means no struggling, no stress, no suffering. So that what I wanted to say.
Uh, okay. Um, Another question I have is, if you could, go back in time and give your past self, at the moment you left, Syria, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Actually, it would be like I'll um I'll tell that little Noura, um, be strong and never give up and surrender, as life has lots of challenges and we have to go through them and to learn from them, not to be depressed and to be like a weak person.
That's some good advice. Okay, how about, um, is there anything you'd like to add, something you haven't been asked that you'd like to share?
Okay, I'd like to share one thing about education. Education is very crucial, especially for refugees, because we are refugees. We left we left our home country. We lost or we miss our relatives, our house, and every single thing in our home country. And when we go to a new country, with nothing at all, but we have only one thing that will rescue us and that will enhance our uh, s- like social level, economic level, and financial level, which is education. So without education, I'll not be um, Noura, Noura, which is talking right now. Without education, I didn't like. I didn't have the ability to talk in English fluently. So we have to care more on education, especially for refugees.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I completely agree with what you said about education because it provides refugees with, the knowledge, skills, qualifications needed to rebuild their lives, and it fosters a sense of self-reliance, which reduces dependence on humanitarian aid, which can then go to other refugees, and then it also enables them to become active and contributing members of their new communities. Uh, they also learn new languages, certain skills, academic subjects that can lead to employment and, being financially independent. And then, especially protection and safety for refugee children and youth. It offers a safe and structured environment, and it provides a sense of normalcy and stability amidst chaos and trauma. So, yeah, I really liked what you said about education, and, just overall, all your responses were great. So, yeah, is there that's it. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and yeah, your responses were awesome.
Thank you too for inviting me to your podcast and creating such a respectful and meaningful space for discussion. And I actually loved your feedbacks of my answers and how you like say sweet words for me. Thank you so much, Said.
Oh, of course, Nura. All right, then, have a great rest of your day. Bye.